Welcome back to another session on dealing with harassment. Stay tuned.
How do we deal with workplace harassment? There are two ways of dealing with harassment in the workplace. One is prevention. As part of the prevention, of course, is instituting harassment policy. When there's a policy on the ground, people will be careful. If such policy says that, look, if you are caught, if you have been found to contravene the policy, you will be terminated. People will be careful. So the key to dealing with workplace harassment could be seen from two perspectives. They could be seen from two perspectives. One is prevention, and the other one is remediation. Remediation comes from remedy. And let's look at the first one. Harassment prevention. I talked about policy. There should be a well laid down policy statement prohibiting harassment at the workplace. Secondly, you must designate the employees who the employees should contact to discuss harassment concerns. There must be somebody when that person is, when whosoever in the organization is being harassed, that he can walk up to complain or share concerns. Then you must investigate harassment complaints promptly and effectively. There shouldn't be any cover-ups in the organization. Even if it's the top shot that is found wanting, he should be penalized. Then there is need to also ensure that managers understand their responsibility to stop, address, and prevent harassment. Then lastly, sanctioning should be in place to act as a deterrent. You must sanction whosoever is found guilty, irrespective of whose ox is God. For equity, we need to take note of that. Then the remediation strategy of dealing with harassment in the workplace starts with you clearly understanding the rules of workplace engagement. You must be conversant with employees' code. If you have not gotten any code of ethics in the workplace, please, there should be, because that will guide people's behavior in the workplace. There should be. It might be clearly written, it might be unwritten. But the truth of the matter is that there should be rules of workplace engagement known to every staff in that organization. Then, for whosoever has been experiencing this harassment, in order to put things in proper perspective, you need to compile and record your evidence. The date when you are being harassed, the place, the time, the circumstances. Let it be, because those are part of evidence that you will put forward when the time comes, when the investigation is being carried out. Then you need to report to appropriate authority for investigation and discipline. And whichever way you look at it, for the person that is being harassed, the decision or the choice, in most cases, lies with you. Some will want to sue. If you know you are fed up and nothing is being done, you can sue. And lastly, of course, is the need to exit the workplace. That is the final resolution. If you know that you have been seriously harassed and nobody is doing anything about it, then of course, you can exit that organization. But we've seen situations where people have sued. They have sued, if it is the top management, of course, you have the right to sue. Once you have your evidence, you can sue. So in conclusion, a healthy, positive, and harassment-free workplace eradicates toxicity and helps in employees' engagement and increase productivity. Thus, you must make sure your workplace does not encourage harassment and discrimination towards anyone. And on this note, permit me to end my session on dealing with workplace harassment. It is time for questions. Please, if you have questions, please unmute yourself and ask questions if you have any. Thank you very much. Yes, time for questions. Please unmute yourself. Yes, ask questions, please. Hello? Are we in the house?
With you.
Yes, if you have questions, please. Otherwise, I will have to end my session. Are there questions on dealing with harassment in the workplace?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, my dear.
Yeah, my name is Zobo.
Who?
My name is Zobo.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the harassments you talked about,
yes,
is the psychological one. You talked about psychological bullying.
Yes.
You said forcing people to work outside their job scope.
Yes.
But you discover that in institutions like this, most times when they are giving you your job schedule,
yes,
we notice that the last part will always say any other function, any other function.
Yes.
That any other function is telling you indirectly that certain times will come when you'll be asked to do something that is outside your job function or your job scope.
Yes. As a matter of fact,
for example,
yes,
we are a supervisor, for example,
yes,
is now giving you an assignment that appears to be outside your job scope.
Yes.
And the subordinate now sees that as being bullied psychologically. But
yes,
meanwhile, that particular part is in the engagement letter you have signed. How do you
yes.
see that?
As a matter of fact, a clearer understanding of any other job that may be assigned to you, I think will do us good. If, for example, I am working in the probably engineering department. Are we together? Are we together, sir?
Yes.
Okay. If, for example, I'm working in the engineering department, yes, because of my qualification, this is what I'm supposed to do in the engineering department. But don't you think, because it has been added that and any other function, and you will now, probably send me to be going to do things in the admin department? They are basically out of my scope. And you can see the idea here, the psychological bullying here talks about forcing someone to work outside their job scope. The word there is force. There is how your boss could really pacify you to get a job done. Once you have, actually really accepted with no pains to get the job done, that is no longer psychological bullying or harassment. But if a kind of issues a threat, if you don't go and do this thing, all right, let us see. We will see who is the boss. That is psychological harassment. Are we together, please? Hello, sir.
Yes.
So forcing, the word there is forcing, using threat to make somebody do something which he doesn't want to do. That is psychological harassment, sir. Are we together? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, with you,
Yes,
sir.
we are together, but you see, sometimes in a work environment like this,
Yes.
there are some tools or machineries that you must use to get work done.
Okay.
Some of them could be memos, could be queries.
Yes.
These are recognized tools, management tools, devices to get
Yes.
work done.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
I really appreciate your answer, but
Yes,
I'm just
okay.
trying to bring this in so that
Yes. Yes.
we will not misconstrue or we will not take as
okay, let me tell you something,
being
sir.
bullied.
Yes, let me
If
tell you
you have
something.
to do.
Yes, let me tell you something. You know, in the leadership strand, when you are a leader, honestly, you don't need to force people to get things done. If you are a very good leader, you don't need to coerce people to get things done. I have been in leadership position now for some years now. And I know I'm talking about the practical content of leading. You don't need to force people to get things done. If you are an inclusive leader, I tell you, people will do things out of their own volition. They are even happy to get things done for you. So the issue of force does not, if you start using force, you say the last resort. I have never used force as a last resort in the course of my leading. But there's a level where we get close to with my subordinates. Well, I don't call them subordinates. I call them colleagues. And they get job done. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
If I have another forum to talk about leadership, you'll be surprised that most of what our organs are onto, they are not into good leading. They are not leading. They are just managers. They are not leaders.
You are correct, sir.
So I am telling you the truth. Don't force somebody to get a job done outside his scope. You need suasion, persuasion, sweet words, knowing how to get things done, to get results. It's not by force. People of low esteem are people who will want to get things in this kind of, cohesive environment. No. So the psychological harassment actually takes place in the workplace when your boss begins to issue threats, unwarranted threats, because he wants you to get the job done. That's psychological bullying. When you withhold information or when you take credit for others' achievements, some of our bosses will take credit for when a job is done, you get a job done, and they say, oh, well done. Why can't you say, oh, it's not me alone, sir. I have my team. It's my team. That means you are also appreciating your team. But when they say, well done, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was wonderful. So you see, you take some of this credit. They all constitute, interestingly, that's why I said, we are talking about workplace harassment, some of these things that some of us have been doing, which we think we are off hook. No, they are really damn bad. They are really that bad. And you need to change. The idea is to change those aberrant behaviors in the workplace. Are we together, sir? Hello, sir.
Yes. While not trying to really overflow this matter, actually, if you have a team that is understanding, there will be no need for threats and all the rest of it.
Yes.
But that, of course, also depends on your subordinates on the team.
Yes.
Because looking at subordinates generally,
Yes.
there are some that you just need to coerce to see the work done. There are others you don't need to talk.
Yes.
I'm speaking from probably compliance point of view now.
Yes.
You understand? Okay.
Yes.
There is a regulation or a regulatory requirement you have to meet.
Yes.
And you have a target. You have to
Yes.
send that report or return. Maybe it has a deadline.
Yes.
You have persuaded. You
Okay.
have used all manners of sweet talk.
Yes.
And yet, you know that when the hammer comes, it's not only going to affect you, but the whole organization. Sanctions will come in, so many risks like that. And you identify a particular person that is holding everybody to ransom. And probably also depending on, I will say it is harassment.
Well,
What would...
Okay, let me not just...
Sorry, what would...
Yes, if we want to look at that...
What would the manager do or supervisor do under that situation? Will he not scream? Will he not shout? All this screaming and shouting, it's actually not really deliberate. Maybe unconsciously, you just find yourself saying, do this work, let's go on now, my guy. You understand?
Well, as I've said,
these are some very rare instances that that this can happen. It may not be deliberate. The manager may not really want to bully or harass the employee, but the situation on hand now.
Thank God you are using the word manager.
That the leader or the team lead.
Okay, what I want to tell you here is it depends on the approach. We see this kind of thing all the time in the organization. All right? It depends on your approach. If I want something done and somebody is slacking, you must identify those that are really helping you to achieve in your organization or in your department. Those that are slacking behind. While those people, you have some set of people that are achieving, you motivate them. The motivation will spur those people that are slacking behind, honestly, to get things done. So I don't know, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the approach you look at things. Over the years, I really to understand the dynamics of leading. And the moment I really understood it is, I don't have problems with people. I don't have problems with people because I would treat issues the way you never expected. And they normally come out with good results for both parties. So maybe when we have another session on that, we'll talk extensively on that. Yes, Julia. Olika, you raise your hands. Yes, ma'am. Juliet Olika, yes. Can we hear you?
Okay, I think later comments has addressed part of my concerns.
Okay.
One, but when you specifically use the example of like an engineer being asked to or assigned to do something out of his area of specialization.
Yes.
Now, in the industry we are in, yes. The job roles or the job functions or responsibility yes. are not tied specifically to okay. specialization. I just need to make it clear because okay. of my experience here. Okay. Now, the industry we are in, financial yes. services, is not yes. Your job assignment at any point in time is really not tied specifically to your qualification or okay. your specialization. So okay. you find that responsibility is yes. fluid across board. So okay. I can be assigned today to do something, and okay. I can be assigned to do something else tomorrow.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
The ideology in the industry is that there's on-the-job training, although okay. some organizations would do the orientation and the entry-level training courses for staff.
Okay.
But
yeah.
there's majority of the time is on-the-job training. So, and you learn on the job. The more jobs you do, the more functions you are assigned to, then you are learned. So, when you say harassment, I don't think most managers would force, more rather would rather encourage the staff, the downlines, to take on new responsibility. But the downlines also have to see it as a need to learn. It's the opportunity to learn when you come in. Then second, another thing I want to ask. Yes. We've been emphasizing top to bottom harassment. What about the bottom to top harassment? The last speaker spoke on assigning functions and a need for reports to come out, and those reports are not coming out. More often than not, you find that the supervisor or the manager is left doing those jobs that the subordinates should have done just to meet up report timelines. So is that not a form of harassment when your downlines just deem it fit that they would not do reports, and you cannot force them to do it or encourage them to?
Yes, I think the watchword there. Let me start with the first one. Is you said when you encourage your subordinates to get a job done. I think that word speaks for itself, all right? But I want to tell you from my experience, there are some managers who will forcefully want you to get a job done. And the idea is this: if you have 3 persons, and these 3 persons in the office have been assigned jobs, and you do yours, but probably the 3rd person is slacking. And at the end of the day, the manager says, okay, since the 3rd person cannot do it, it is your responsibility. You will, of course, rebel. What about this guy? He gets paid, but the idea there is, how are you persuasive enough to getting results? You see, persuasive skills is key to understanding leadership. All the time is not force, directive. I am directed, directive. No. Have you not seen a situation where, as a manager, you are among your leaders, but I tell you, somebody comes and he will never know you are even the manager? The level of rapport, the level of relationship, but that doesn't obscure the fact that they know you are the manager and they should get things done. So if I was talking about team building now, because this thing is very, very diverse. If I have a team, I should know those persons. You should be able to gauge and evaluate people that will give you results, and the ones that are still upcoming, or you will not get results from. So what do? You introduce this psychological reward system. If, for example, you ask me for something, I know you are a person that gets the job done for. I say, oh yes, you are one of my top shots. Please take this. But the other guy who has not been doing things properly, I said, even when I'm giving the other one, I will still be reminding the other person. I said, you see, this guy is doing well. You need to really learn from him. These are the things you need to do to bring people at par so that you get results. So we can do these things. The idea here is that some people don't see things that way. They believe that there should be a clear-cut line between manager and the so-called followership or subordinate. But for me, when you are functional, that line disappears. Are we together? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Okay.
We are with you, sir.
All right. Any other question, please?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Who is talking, please?
Sir, my own is a little question.
Okay. Your name, please.
Harassment. Something I want to ask.
Yes.
My name is Opai Bonde from Kala branch.
Okay.
Sir, I wish to ask, this harassment, is it applicable to only female?
No, I said it now. It could even be a male too. If you have a boss, if you have a boss that is stalking you seriously, asking for favors, he's saying if you don't do this, if you don't come in contact with her, that she will not do this. That's harassment. It doesn't only pertain to men alone, women too. Women are the top echelon who wants to have relationships too. It does for both parties, yes. All right. Okay. Any other question?
Sir, I still want to ask again. Then, yes. In that case, is it common that female can as well harassment?
Yes, women can harass men too now.
Yes. Okay. In
yes.
what way?
Women can harass men.
So, what are the landing conditions that can lead to that?
What are the what?
The landing conditions that can lead to that.
Sorry, I don't understand. What are the conditions that can lead to?
That can lead to
sexual harassment.
Male harassment.
Many things could come to that. For example, if you are very very attractive.
Okay, sir.
If you are attractive, you are somebody who is very attractive.
Yeah, attractive.
And you enter the woman's eye. Of course, you expect to be harassed. If you are somebody who dresses well, you look clean, you are good looking, and you know women like things like that. Looking good, looking clean, taking good care of yourself. Definitely, you go enter person's eye. You will be harassed.
Okay.
I hope you have not been harassed. Have you been harassed? All right, any other question? Okay, if there are no questions, ladies and gentlemen, also, I intend to, yes. Any other question? All right, if there are no questions, I intend to call this session
Thank you for watching. Kindly follow us on our social media handle.